Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The current long-range meta here in Black Ops 6 Warzone, honestly, is super competitive. There are a lot of really good options, whether you're looking for low recoil, easy to use options, ones that just absolutely melt and have absurd TTKs. And today, I wanted to break down the best long-range weapons and the best loadouts for those weapons. So starting first, we've got one of my personal favorites. I know it's not for everyone, but it is a gun that objectively has so much potential in the long range, and that is the AK-74. This thing's TTK is almost unmatched over range. The only drawback is that it's got some control. It's got some recoil that is definitely, bouncy. So it's not going to be as straightforward as several other options here, but it's also not impossible to use. If you truly go through, you put in the time and the effort to learn the recoil pattern here, to memorize it, to get better with it, this is a gun that is incredibly rewarding. Now, we do go through and we build around that control quite a bit. So as far as an optic here, it's really a matter of preference. I know some players like the micro dot, some players like a reflex, some players like a 3x, a 2x, whatever the case is. It's really a matter of preference here. If there's a certain optic you like, go for that, run that, you're all set there. Compensator for our muzzle, helping straight up with vertical control, super important there. Obviously makes the gun a bit more usable and controllable over range. Reinforced barrel, going to help out with some range, some velocity. We end up with a 70-meter effective damage range, which is absurdly good, and almost 1,000 velocity, which is great for the hit scan range as well. Vertical foregrip is going to help out the most with horizontal control, so we're attacking horizontal and vertical between the compensator and the vertical foregrip, which just makes the gun a lot easier to use. You pair that with either extended 2 or extended 3, and you're good to go. Extended 3 is going to be a little bit slower than extended 2, but you get 10 extra bullets. So if you're okay with being a little bit slower for ADS and reload and stuff there, upgrade to the 60. If you want a bit more of a snappy option still, 50 is going to work fine with his fire rate. There's no real wrong answer there. It's just a matter of what you value more on the setup. But yeah, the AK-74 is so insanely powerful if you know how to utilize it. Now on the complete inverse here, we've got the AMES. This one is not nearly as powerful as the AK, but it is a million times easier to use. So your realistic and competitive TTK is probably going to be a lot closer between these two weapons than a graph might initially indicate. The AMES is very straightforward and honestly a pretty aggressive rifle, even though it's built for long range here. For the optic this time, I went for the Willis 3x, just again a matter of preference. Suppressor keeps me off the map. If you want to maximize the control even more, feel free to go ahead and switch over to the compensator. Just know obviously you're going to show up on the radar there. Reinforced barrel, yet again in this case, 55-meter effective damage range, 931 velocity is going to be very strong there for really all the realistic fights you're going to get into. Ranger foregrip here, just because this gun is a bit easier, you don't need to go all in on the horizontal control with vertical, and you can get some sprinting movement speed back while still getting some horizontal control out of that. And then extended to, yet again, 60 here with a 750 RPM. The DPM won't be insane, but it'll be sufficient for duos, trios, and quads in the vast majority of fights you'll get into. This has been one of my more likable options as of late. It's nice to see that this has really jumped up because of some buffs and because of some adjustments to other guns since the start of BO6 Warzone, where it was kind of an irrelevant rifle. Now we can't talk about the long range meta and not include some sniper options, right? The LR762, in my opinion, is the most reliable long range sniper. You have a very forgiving and generous one-shot headshot range. It's going to be easy to use, good velocity, like it's checking all the right boxes here. I like the default scope, so I just rock with that. Suppressor here just straight up keeps me off the radar, nothing more to that. Long barrel is going to be super important here, giving us the max one-shot range, almost 86 meters on that one-shot headshot. So you're going to be, pretty much good in all the realistic fights you're getting into. 86 meters is going to be plenty for that one-shot range. Fast mag 2 here, you only lose 1 bullet, but your ADS speed is much faster than without this. So I've actually been rocking this a lot lately on my setups, and I enjoy how aggressive this feels while being a long range and heavier sniper, all things considered. I also like the quick draw grip, helps out that ADS even more. So we're looking at a 511 ADS speed, which is pretty solid considering what this sniper is when you compare it to other long distance snipers like this. And then lastly, overpressured ammo ups that velocity to 1058. So that bullet drop, that bullet lead is going to be super predictable and reliable throughout. Really, like I just said, the most straightforward, the most dependable sniper in the game, in my opinion. Now, the Frostline essentially is going to be the exact same weapon, just with a different one-shot range, right? So it's going to be a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive, just with less potential one-shot distance. So suppressor, again, to keep me off the radar. Long barrel, in this case, only gives us a 73-meter one-shot. That's still very, very good. It's just not as good as the LR762 in that case. However, when you stack Fast Mag 1 on here for 1 less bullet, but a faster ADS and quick draw riser, you end up with a 461 ADS, so decently faster than the LR762. So if you like aggressive sniping more, the Frostline is probably more your style, whereas if you like the slower, heavier sniping, LR762 works. Overpressured ammo on here as well for the better velocity gives us 1012, which again is going to be great for that hit scan range, the bullet drop, and the bullet lead. So similar setups here, but very different play styles, all things considered. Both of them are fantastic, each for their own reasons. You can probably also include the Kar 98K in this conversation as well. It'll have the best ADS speed out of all these snipes mentioned, but it'll have the worst one-shot range. So if you really like aggressive sniping, you may lean towards this over the Frostline. I definitely want to give you guys the options here for sure. For the optic, I don't really have a huge preference here. I like the Antlers AS7 a lot. I like the range color. I kind of go back and forth there because I'm comfortable with all of those. But if there's a different one you really enjoy using, again, go ahead, run that. Speared fire suppressor helps extend out that range and that velocity. So does the 7.62 long barrel, and then so does the high grain ammo. So here we end up with a 904 velocity and a 67 meter one-shot range, which is still really good, all things considered. And then when you throw on no stock, you get the better ADS speed, you get better movement speed as well. You end up with a 377 ADS, which is way better than the other two snipers here, right? So this is definitely built for the most aggressive sniping, but also it does have the least range. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons and setups here today, if you enjoy the video, you find it useful, a like rating is always really appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee that every single day you are in the know for all things going on in COD, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way every single day you'll know when I upload a new video. Next up here, we've got the Cypher, one of my favorite weapons in the game right now. It is low recoil, it's got great range and a great TTK. It's really aggressive for a rifle as well. It's checking all the right boxes. I love this thing. For a basic 5 attachment setup here, I like the Volsky Reflex. Again, optics, totally preference at the end of the day. Suppressor keeps me off the radar. If you want to opt for a little more control, go ahead, run the compensator on there. Reinforced barrel, we get nearly a 55 meter effective damage range, 972 velocity, both great stats. Ranger foregrip yet again because it's not too difficult and it's still really aggressive, so this plays into both of those. Some horizontal control, some sprinting movement speed. Then extended 2 will be 60, and with this rate of fire, that's good for all squad sizes. You want to upgrade to gunfighter, throw on an ergonomic, a balanced stock, recoil springs. The gun becomes even more versatile and even easier as well. Definitely the highest skill gap weapon in the long range meta right now is the Goblin. It's also the most rewarding. If you can spam this thing at essentially its max fire rate and continuously land shots on target, it's going to have the best TTK. Fact of the matter is, though, most players can't continuously spam it at that max fire rate and maintain shots on target. So high skill, high risk, high reward essentially is what this thing is at the end of the day. For the optic, again, simply a matter of preference. I really like the 3 times on my semi-auto guns, though. Suppressor to keep me off the radar. If you want more control as you're spamming, go for the compensator there. Reinforced barrel, yet again, we get almost a 55 meter effective damage range, 943 velocity. Then I go for extended 2 here, gives us a 50 rounder, so you're controlling this at your own pace as you're spamming it. You're gonna know just how long it takes to burn through 50 shots, so you're pretty much in control of that. And then rapid fire. Typically, this ends up hurting range and velocity on full auto guns, but on semi-auto guns, it just hurts the control. And even as you're spamming this, the recoil is not awful. Obviously, the further out an enemy is, the more it's gonna be noticeable, but at 50, 60, 70 meters, it's not going to be too uncontrollable as you're spamming. So this thing is one that, again, if you know what you're doing with a semi-auto gun and you can spam fast, it'll be incredibly rewarding. Hey everyone, real quick, just want to give a shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. If you are looking to stay hydrated, energized, or focused, G Fuel is the #1 place to go. They've got so many different flavors depending on what you're looking for. Their hydration tubs and their brand new hydration sticks are phenomenal. So if you're just looking to sip on something, stay hydrated throughout the day, that's a great choice. They've also got their energy tubs and their cans as well. If you're looking to stay focused and energized, whether you're gaming, doing anything else, they've got you covered there as well. If you ever want to grab anything at all from the G Fuel sites, be sure to throw in code IMMORTAL at checkout, and that'll save you some cash. Link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. I know some players aren't a huge fan of the Krig and how the recoil feels. I personally like to attack the control a lot on my setups, and this turns into a gun that's got a very good TTK with really good range as well. So I think this is one worth mentioning here in the long range meta as it stands. In this case, I went for the Jason Armory 2 times, another optic I personally really enjoy. Compensator, obviously straight up to attack that control, then vertical foregrip as well. So you're getting the most out of each of those categories for horizontal and vertical control, making the pattern a bit more predictable there. Reinforced barrel again for range and velocity, 61 meter range, fantastic. 978 velocity is really good. Then extended 2 is a 70 rounder here. I don't know why it's so much more than the other rifles, but it is, and that's a great stat to have. Once more with gunfighter, if you wanted it to be more aggressive, ergonomic, and balanced stock on there. And then recoil springs could help out even more here with that funky control as well, where it kind of bounces around a bit randomly after the first few shots. So there's even more ways to enhance the control here if that's something you need. We just talked about the MTZ 556 the other day, and even though it's not a BO6 gun, it actually can hold its own in the long range. Its TTK is very competitive, and it's one of the easier to use MW3 options in my opinion. Here for the optic, I really like the Nadar model 2023. The 2.5 times eagle eye is really good as well there, but again, feel free to rock what you're comfortable with. Monolithic here works the same as all the other basic suppressors, helping out with the range and the velocity some. Then the drifter heavy barrel does that as well, so we end up with nearly a 50-meter effective damage range, not too far behind those BO6 guns, and then a 940 velocity sitting right there with the other options as well. Any vertical underbarrel is going to work the same again for control and firing aim stability, so making the gun easier. And then just your basic 50 round extended mag there is obviously a no-brainer pick. So this thing, you might be sleeping on it. Yeah, it's an MW3 gun, feels a little bit different, but if you know what you're doing, incredibly rewarding as well. And then lastly, one more MW3 gun, the Holger 556, which actually has a surprisingly good TTK here. It's a bit limited by its ammo, but it's pretty easy to use, and when you're landing shots, it's going to be able to kill quick, just like the other rifle options that we've discussed here. In this case, I went for the 2.5 times eagle eye. I like to switch it up here and there. Spirit fire suppressor, again, working the same as all the other suppressors with range and velocity. Cryo 6 match barrel helps out even more with range and velocity, plus some control as well. We end up with a 52 meter effective damage range, and 907 velocity is also going to be sufficient as well. Bow breaker grip, yet again, any vertical one will do just fine, and the 40 round mag is the max here. Now, you're only at a 588 RPM, so you're not going to burn through ammo, but still, it's not a 50 or a 60. It's noticeable that you're going to have to reload maybe a little bit more frequently, but still a very, very solid rifle at the end of the day. And that being said, that's how the long range meta plays out right now. You've got a lot of really good options between rifles, snipers, MW3, BO6 guns. There's some good choices for sure. Let me know your favorite down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you are always in the know for everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.